tenant to build equity. With every payment you make, you're getting EJARA tokens, which represent your equity. Now, traditionally, in most real estate, if you want to tap into your equity, you have to get what's called a HELOC, a home equity line of credit. Have you heard of home equity lines of credit? Yes? No? Well, a home equity line of credit is, for example, let's say you own a home that's valued at $300,000, and you have a loan for $100,000. You have $200,000 of equity, right? Now, let's say you have a need. You need to pay for education, or you want to do an addition on your home. Well, you have to go out and get a line of credit or loan against the equity of your home, correct? Well, here, the EJARA token holders have equity already in the form of this token. All they have to do is sell it. And anytime they're ready to pay it back, they just buy it back. Right? Very simple, easy process. And it allows a tenant that's building equity to be able to have an investment, right? Because this token, which represents equity in U.S. real estate, can be traded worldwide. So effectively, the value of that token can increase. So while you're paying your monthly payment, you're also making an investment not only in your own home, because the value of your home is controlled by what the real estate market is, but your equity is tradable at any point you want to in the future. And you can trade your EJARA token for things such as a solar system, a kitchen remodel. You can even pay for Hajj and Umrah utilizing your EJARA tokens. You can simply trade them through our ecosystem for going for Hajj. Is there a simpler way to save for Umrah or Hajj other than just making a monthly payment? I can't think of one, right? You make your monthly payment, you have to live somewhere, you're paying rent, you're getting tokens that represent your equity, and you can trade those tokens in anytime you want to. You're trading tokens, not your equity in your home. You're saving for various different things while you make your payment. So currently, the ETHI token is available for purchase. You can buy it right now. You can invest in it right now. The EJARA token is not available for sale because it can only be earned, right? You can only earn it by making your monthly payment. And since we just started this project, there are no EJARA tokens that are in existence right now because they haven't been earned yet. We are going through the pre-sale right now for ETHI token. So you can get started in investing in crypto by buying ETHI token. And if you hold it for 12 months, you automatically get a 10% bonus. So if you were to buy 10,000 ETHI tokens 12 months from now, you'd end up having 11,000 tokens of whatever the market value is. That's why people buy these things at pre-sale. Okay. So here's a few examples. If AAVE, which is a token that started last year in April of 2020, in October of 2021, a $10,000 investment would have turned into $80,000. Maker is another one, and also started a couple years ago. $10,000 last year in April would have been $57,000 today in October. YFI started also last year, a $10,000 investment would have turned into $378,000. Now these are the types of returns that aren't possible in the crypto space. And now we have a way that people can participate and be involved in a halal investment. Because ultimately, these tokens are invested in halal finance, and they're invested in real estate. So I'll just show you a graph here. For example, AAVE, as you can see, started in April of last year. and it grew significantly. Maker started several years ago, but again, investing last year would have yielded a pretty big return. And then YFI, Yearn Finance, obviously this is not based on real estate and it's not an Islamic transaction, but you can see that it has had tremendous growth. So there's a section on how we can acquire a home utilizing an ethical token and an IjaraCDC token.
How to acquire a home using ethical ijara. Acquiring a home with ETHI is easy. We create a trust to own the property. The trust leases the property to the tenant. The tenant pays the rent to the trust. When the trust receives the monthly payment, it will pay the ETHI stakeholders a profit. It will pay the cost of ownership, which is property taxes, property insurance and an admin fee. Trust will issue ijara tokens to tenant to represent the accumulation of equity. Once you have enough ijara, you can trade them with the trust for the title of the property, or you can trade them on the market anytime you want. Easy, right? That's how you acquire a home using ETHI.
So this is how simple it is to not only get involved in crypto, be involved on the ethical side of finance, be able to support our communities by helping people buy homes with, without being involved in riba, and have tremendous growth opportunity. So that's essentially just a summary of crypto investing and our ethical product.
What about the down payment? How much?
So down payment can vary depending upon qualification, and qualification could be as little as $0 down if you're qualified. Could be, and again, this is where a governance vote would come in, right? We would have certain criteria, and people could vote on that criteria. And I'll give you an example of what I mean by voting, governance. Okay, when we do traditional, Islamic finance, right? We work with financial institutions. There was a customer some time back that was putting $100,000 down payment. Can document he was paying rent for 4 years of $1,500 a month, right? And his new payment with taxes, insurance, and everything was going to be $1,350. But because he was not able to document all his income, he wasn't qualified because there are certain things called debt-to-income ratios, right? And these debt-to-income ratios are designed by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to protect the banks. Now, so he was not able to be financed. But as a landlord, would you accept this person as a tenant? His payment is $150 less a month, and he can prove he's been paying $1,500 a month for 4 years. Is he a good investment? Yes, right? So we would put that up for a governance fund, right? Doesn't meet our basic criteria, but here is the criteria. Without identifying information, right? Just the basics. And then everybody could vote. Yes, this person makes sense. So there may be a situation where somebody comes along and document that they've been paying rent, they're saving money by doing this purchase transaction. Maybe they need to do a small down payment, but they just don't have the ability to do it. Maybe they're getting down payment assistance. We would put it up to a governance vote. And then everybody can vote and say, yes, let's go ahead and accept this with $0 down, right? Because these are not criteria that are based upon traditional lending criteria. This is not a lending transaction, right? This is a real estate transaction. This is a rent to own. So it doesn't make sense as a landlord, you as a landlord, does it make sense to you to rent this property to someone. That's what it would boils down to. Oh, the network, they just started. We just started it, yeah. We've got some pretty large investors that are coming on board with this right now. I mean, Ijara, we've done almost $1 billion of finance ourselves. So we're anticipating that, you know, when this goes public, which will be maybe January, February, it will be public. The initial public sale will be about $400 million.
Yeah, so this is just like another currency like Bitcoin?
So it's not really a currency, okay? First of all, just to add clarification, Bitcoin and Ether are not classified by the IRS as currencies. They're actually classified as assets, real assets, much like real estate is, okay? This is actually not a coin, this is a token. And the token is tradable within the ecosystem, but it is more effectively an investment, if you will, in effectively real estate.
So, you said after the vote, someone can put zero money down, is that right?
Yes, possible.
Is that based on the credit score or?
It's based on whatever the criteria is. We would list out the criteria and we would put it up to a governance vote. People have 48 hours to vote. People need to make decisions, for example, and you need 50% of people agree. So we'd list out the credit score, we'd list out, you know, how much rent they're paying, you know, whatever their criteria is that, you know, conceivably could make, you know, somebody, you know, a good tenant, and then everybody could vote on that. So you would decide whether or not the credit score was acceptable.
But who's gonna vote for the credit score?
Everybody that would own an ethical token could vote. If you own 1,000 tokens, you get 1,000 votes. I mean, look, not every transaction will be voted on, right? We're going to have some basic transactions, right? I mean, basic requirements. You have to have, just like, you know, any landlord would say, I need to have a decent credit score. I need to know that you've got a good history of making your payments. I need to know you're employed. You know, there's some standard logic that we want to, you know, utilize in, you know, being landlords. But if somebody comes to us and they don't meet certain criteria, then we can put that onto a vote, right? We don't want to just flat out deny anybody that doesn't meet the requirements, right? Because you might think it's a good idea to vote on it. This is called decentralized finance, right? The finance decisions are no longer made by a central authority. They're made by a decentralized authority, you guys. Does that make sense?
So, what's the process of buying a house? Yeah. I don't think that.
Oh, you go through an application. You know, you come to our website, you click on Get Started, you do an application, and once you get the application done, we would effectively, you know, figure out whether you're approvable or not, and then we would go out and buy the house, and then rent it to you on a rent-to-own basis.
So who's buying a house? You said you have a bank.
Well, basically we would be buying it with the ethical token holders. Banks don't buy houses, right? Banks finance houses.
No, you. Who's buying the house? Like you said.
So what we do right now is we create a trust for every transaction, right? So we would create a trust. That trust would buy the house.
What trust?
The trust that we would create for that transaction.
Who's providing the loan to buy the house?
You guys are. The ethical token holders are providing the loan.
So you say you're not a bank.
We're not.
Who's providing the loan? we have a network. You mean something like shareholders?
So the shareholders,
Something like shareholders.
the shareholders are the ethical token holders. You buy the token, okay?
Well, forget about me. We're talking about, you said you're not the bank, you're not providing the money. You're not working with the bank, you're not getting the money from the bank, so, I mean, we need transparency.
It's coming from the investors, people that are buying the tokens, individuals or institutions.
But
Anybody-
you're starting this, so basically you can buy a house now because there is no.
Well, you can buy a house now through our system, okay? But we want to, right now there's halal finance everywhere, right? You've heard of guidance, you've heard of my UIF, you've heard of Development Bank, you've heard of everybody, right? There's halal finance. What we're trying to do is make halal finance Zabiyah. You understand the difference? For example, chicken is halal, right? Zabiyah is when you actually, Zabiyah, right? That's a Zabiyah chicken. There's a difference. The scholars make a distinction between halal and Zabiyah.
Right, and do you have any resource that can go through that to make sure it's been considered scholars or something?
Yes, the fatwa is being updated right now for this.
I don't, yeah. You can show whatever you want, because I've done some little research on it, and it's coming from Amjad,
Yeah.
the Central Islamic, and Dr. Mahmoud
Yeah.
specifically about the Ijara company, and he said it's not right.
No, he's primarily talking about our conversion product.
He's talking about the rent-on program and also purchase.
No, he has no objection to rent to own. He has no objection to rent to own. Rent to own, ijara, wa iqtina, is a fundamental Islamic transaction. Okay? And what we're doing is, rather than having all these institutions, including ourselves, right, working with, for example, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, we want to eliminate all of that, okay? Start utilizing a new way to finance Islamic transactions, and at the same time, help our communities build wealth. Okay? And the way we can do that is by having everybody basically start investing in halal crypto, right? And so you can earn profits because they're profit shares. It's acceptable, right? It's not like you're getting money on money. You're getting a share of profit from the rental of real estate, right? That's halal, isn't it? Just like owning, a partnership with 10 other people, you own a home, you share in the profits, right? So this is one way that you can do that. And also there's potential for it to appreciate in value, is there not? So you can build long-term possible growth that way as well. Okay? And I say possible because I don't know what the future holds. It could go up, it could go down. Real estate could go up, it could go down, right? We saw in 2008, there was a big crash in the real estate market. Who knows what's going to happen? But generally, over the long term, usually real estate goes up in value, usually.